All right, so before we overanalyze this, we find ourselves taking a look at the sun in the ever-popular 171 angstroms. Got some activity over here, and some big magnetic loops over here. Pretty nice. However, we are looking at this through the SDO, and so since people are really concerned about the moon flying backwards and alien spacecraft and artificial disks in front of the SDO and so on, let's take a moment to look at the SDO site. If you go to sdo.gsfc.nasa.gov, one of the links is Where is SDO? If you scroll down, that is where SDO is, okay? As SDO orbits in this fashion, you have to keep in mind that one of the panels is always fixed on the sun. In fact, its entire axis is always fixed on the sun. The best view of that is on this image. It's sending you actual data there. And this is the motion that the SDO needs to do in order to view the sun all the time. What's the point? The point is, as the moon crosses the ecliptic, if the SDO is in this spot and the moon is in the wrong position, it swings around and the moon goes across its view twice. Case closed. Stop worrying about nonsense that isn't true. Let's look at the real space weather data here. Really, the news is coronal hole wind stream is on the way. And because it's near the equinox, we're expecting it to have a significant geomagnetic impact. I'm going to guess we're going to get a KP of 7 from it, because it's very well defined. It's pointing right at the Earth. And we're expecting that on September 17th. We are getting a little bit of an increase in the X-ray flux, as you can see there. Let's pause for a minute and go to the real-time solar wind. The BTBZ is fairly converged around the 0 line, which is nice, as that is going to reduce geomagnetic risk a little bit. Just wait for that to load. It's worth it, as it updates every minute, and it's only showing you a few hours here. All right. Solar wind density is actually elevated, and solar wind speed is elevated too. It's been as high as at least 650 in the past few hours. So also there's been a big temperature fluctuation, although that seems to have now moderated also. Back to spaceweathernews.com. Magnetometer is trending up a little bit. You can see higher lows and higher highs. KP has settled down to 2. And as you can see, we were in electron storm mode here for quite a while. And the electron flux is still very high, but it is starting to modulate now a little bit. And as you can see, there is charging hazard all over the place. If you own some satellites, you may consider baking those out. And the F2 ionosphere layer is fairly non-anomalous right now. Pretty normal. So we're going to be expecting auroras on the 17th. Meanwhile, not a whole lot of activity, but an elevated solar wind, incoming coronal hole stream, and a few active regions, no sunspots. By the way, don't accept any wooden nickels.